Ladies and gentlemen, at Georgetown it's customary for the students to move along when the faculty comes in. So as I bring in first the faculty and then the president, if you could keep the applause going, it will show our guests that you have spirit, even in the middle of the night. Congratulations.
President DeGioia, distinguished guests, members of the faculty, members of the graduating class, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2016 commencement exercises of Georgetown University, which mark the 227th year since the founding of Georgetown College. Please stand for the national anthem, which will be led by the members of the Georgetown University Concert Choir and Chamber Singers under the direction of Professor Frederick Binkholder.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare above bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sailors, that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The invocation will be offered by the Reverend Kevin O'Brien, Society of Jesus, Vice President for Mission and Ministry.
Let us pray. Our loving Creator, we gather on this hilltop one last time, aware that above all it is you who gathered us here some years ago, and you today who unite us amid all of our blessed diversity, and you who send us forth with a holy summons. We give you thanks for this time of celebration today, for our family and friends who made this day possible, and for all those here on the hilltop who cared for our students along the way. This has been a place where we have let the world in, from Baltimore, Syria, Iraq, San Bernardino, Ferguson, and Flint, and so many other places that have marked our time here. In this world which is so beautiful but yet so broken, give our sons and daughters of Georgetown the courage to be prophets who will boldly and eloquently speak the truth in our age. Give them the passion to be relentless advocates for peace and understanding in our world and vigorous defenders of the dignity of every human person. Give them hope to be the dreamers and visionaries who can look beyond what is given and expected to imagine possibilities yet unknown. Lure them, dear Lord, beyond the gates, beyond the narrow bounds of self-interest, and empower them to create works of beauty in a sometimes harsh world, to labor for justice in places that are indifferent to human need, and to reach out in compassion to the forgotten and vulnerable. In the spirit of the Ad Majorem Dei Gloriam, we pray with St. Ignatius this day. May all of their talents, may all of their awesome gifts of mind and heart, may their boundless energy and imagination be offered back to you and to our world for your greater glory and the good of others. Amen.
Please be seated. Dr. Randall Bass, Vice Provost for Education and Professor in the Department of English, will deliver the official welcome.
Thank you, Dean Gillis. Good morning. And to our graduates, good morning. I was commenting to Father O'Brien that I think this is what Noah must have felt like on day one. But it's sunny in here, and it is my pleasure to welcome our guests to this commencement ceremony for the College of Arts and Sciences. I do so on behalf of our provost, Dr. Robert Groves, whose own son is graduating elsewhere this weekend. And I do so on behalf of the entire academic community of Georgetown, faculty, administrators, and staff, and in behalf of these students seated before me who will momentarily become our newest graduates. As Vice Provost for Education, I have been privileged to lead our efforts to continually strengthen what we try to do here. We're trying to imagine a future for Georgetown built upon and equal to its past, a future that can meet the challenge of delivering not just the best possible education, but a distinctively Georgetown education, both undergraduate and graduate, in a very complicated and swiftly changing world. But standing here on a day like today and looking out at all of you, it is actually quite a poignant reminder that in fact, we are shaping and creating the future every day, every year in our interactions with you, a future embodied in you. And the people who are so deeply involved in shaping that future are the extraordinary faculty colleagues seated behind me, who take so seriously both the educational and the research missions of the university, not only to inform our students intellectually, but to form them as people of character and ethical judgment, to whom we can safely entrust the future not only of Georgetown, but indeed the future of the world. To you, our guests, and especially to the families and support networks of our students, we acknowledge with deep thanks for the role that you have played in helping these folks get to the finish line. No one's successes or accomplishments are theirs alone, so thank you. We also acknowledge with thanks the magnitude of the responsibility with which you have entrusted us. We've worked hard to be worthy of that trust, so that we can say today with considerable pride that we watch along with you as your sons and daughters move on to the next phase of their lives, their early promise fulfilled, and a life of purpose ready to unfold. We're happy to celebrate with you this glorious day, filled with nostalgia for what is about to end and with excitement for what is about to commence. So to our guests, welcome. To our graduates, welcome home.
Our founder, Most Reverend John Carroll, first Archbishop of Baltimore and first Catholic bishop in the United States, took legal possession of land on our hilltop in 1789, and we mark that as our founding date. Our first student, the future North Carolina Congressman William Gaston, arrived in 1791, and our first bachelor's degrees were not awarded until 1817. It was in 1815 that, with enrollments passing the 100 mark, the college's president, Father John Grassi of the Society of Jesus, asked then Congressman Gaston to present a petition for a federal charter, a document that still today sanctions the academic business we do here. It is our custom to initiate academic ceremonies with a reading of that charter. To discharge that office, I am pleased to introduce Mr. Edward M. Quinn, Secretary of the University.
An act concerning the College of Georgetown in the District of Columbia. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, that it shall and may be lawful for such persons as now are, or from time to time may be, the President and Directors of the College of Georgetown within the District of Columbia, to admit any of the students belonging to said college or other persons meriting academical honors to any degree in the faculties, arts, sciences, and liberal professions to which persons are usually admitted in other colleges and universities of the United States, and to issue in an appropriate form the diplomas or certificates which may be requisite to testify to the admission of such degree. Signed, Langdon Chivas, Speaker of the House of Representatives. John Gaillard, President pro tempore of the Senate. Approved March 1st, 1815, James Madison.
Dr. Martha Weiss, Associate Professor in the Department of Biology, will read the citation for the honorary degree.
Would the honorary degree recipient please come to center stage? Okay. In his recent world-challenging encyclical, Laudato Si', Pope Francis insists that access to water is a basic and universal human right, essential to human survival, and a condition for the exercise of other human rights. And yet 1 in 9 people on this planet lacks access to safe drinking water, and worldwide, childhood illness is commonly linked, either directly or indirectly, to poor water and sanitation conditions. We are not yet at that dark moment in the rhyme of the ancient mariner, water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. And if we do not arrive at that dark moment, it will be in large part because of the work of an unwaveringly dedicated generation of environmental activists and advocates, one of whom we honor today, Alexandra Cousteau, whose extraordinary filmmaking has raised public awareness of the global water crisis and helped to galvanize our efforts to seek solutions. Alexandra Cousteau's parents taught her to swim when she was 4 months old. She has been in and about water ever since, as how could she not, coming from the first family of oceanography. For 3 generations, her family has shaped the world's awareness of the grandeur of the oceans, as well as their peril. Starting in the early 1950s, her grandfather, Captain Jacques Cousteau, and then her father, Philippe Cousteau, gradually revealed to us the extraordinary beauty of what Captain Cousteau called le monde du silence, the world of silence beneath the waves. So impactful has their work been that the family still holds the record for the largest number of cover stories published by National Geographic, a publication and enterprise from which their name now seems inseparable. A 1998 graduate of Georgetown College, in 2000, Cousteau co-founded Earth Echo International with her brother, Philippe Cousteau Jr., in order to honor their father and advance his vision of a world where every single child can breathe fresh air, drink clean water, and walk on green grass under a blue sky. In 2008, she established the Blue Legacy organization to further her family's work. In 2009, Blue Legacy sponsored Expedition Blue Planet, a 100-day journey across 5 continents telling 8 critical water stories from India, Botswana, Cambodia, Australia, the Middle East, the Mississippi River, and our own Anacostia River in Southeast DC. That year, Alexandra Cousteau also joined the Discovery Channel, co-hosting Blue August with her brother Philippe, and serving as chief correspondent on water issues for Discovery's Planet Green. These expeditions continue, focusing increasingly on North American watershed stories. In February 2012, Cousteau joined the international ocean conservation group Oceana as a senior advisor to the organization. Cousteau advocates a systems-based approach to global water issues, one that recognizes how crucial it is to preserve natural water systems while taking into account the numerous demands, threats, and developments within a watershed. From resource management to addressing pollution to planning appropriately for the placement of cities, factories, and farms, Cousteau argues, we must focus on careful economic planning and ecosystem-based management to preserve and sustain a healthy Earth for generations to come. In a recent TEDx talk, Cousteau explains that by the twilight of her life in 2050, 75% of the world will experience water shortages. And this, Cousteau argues, requires us to reimagine our world. It requires us to think differently about what it means to be an environmentalist. It requires us to make decisions with a different view, a different perspective, a different idea of what is possible. Because she has alerted us to the perils which endanger our waters and our world, because she has so passionately urged us to reimagine that world, our place in it, and our responsibility for it, and because her filmmaking both shows us the compelling beauty and power of water and offers us a different idea of what is possible, Georgetown University today, with admiration and delight, confers upon Alexandra Cousteau the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon Alexandra Cousteau the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. And it's now my pleasure to present to you Alexandra Cousteau, who will deliver the commencement address.
Thank you, and welcome graduates and your families. Welcome faculty and staff. Thank you for this enormous honor and for inviting me to join you today. So perhaps we should take a moment and just appreciate what for many of you will mean the end of exams, the end of papers, perhaps not the end of cramming, but certainly the end of it as you've been experiencing it. For many of you parents, the end of tuition. But if we're being honest, probably not the end of late month calls for a little financial help. Nonetheless, these are all things worth celebrating. So let's begin there with family, as many of yours graduates are here to honor you today. You began at their bosoms and on their backs. They carried you when you were too tired to walk. You are the living embodiment of what they hoped for the future. They made a person, you, and sent you out to learn and absorb and become ready to inherit the future. How we deal with that can be tricky, and that is part of what I hope to speak about today. Coming home to the hilltop almost 20 years after my own graduation has given me the chance to reflect on everything that brought me here and all that has transpired since. My hopes and dreams, my successes and failures, my delights and my disappointments. And thinking back, I realized that much of my life and the person that I've become grew out of certain experiences I had as a child. I have crystal clear memories of my grandfather from when I was a little girl. He was the man who taught me to scuba dive. He took me to get hot chocolate after school, who raced me to the corner, and who would always whistle while we walked down the street. I knew, in the childlike way of sensing but not fully understanding the world of adults, that he was special. The clues were in how others spoke of him, the fact that he had films on television and made speeches to heads of state. He was an inventor, conservationist, innovator, author, and explorer. He gave the world, through the medium of television, its first real look beneath the ocean's surface and inspired a generation to appreciate the natural beauty and abundance of life he discovered there. His influence on me has been profound, both in terms of how I saw myself and how others saw me. I was Jacques Cousteau's granddaughter at dinners, events, in the press. The subtitle would be Ocean Royalty, or sometimes Mermaid, one that I stopped caring for past the age of 8 or 9. I grew up seeing my life play out in the context of continuing my grandfather's legacy, continuing his work, furthering his ideas, settling his unfinished business. But it was here at Georgetown that I started to find my own voice, that I found my own passions, interests, and causes, that my own path started to appear. And I realize now that legacy is something you inherit, yes, but it need not be something you passively receive and accept. It is something you must shape until it fits you. If you've ever been introduced as someone's brother or sister, as someone's daughter or son, and if you've ever felt the weight of that legacy press on the expectations of the people you were meeting, change the grip of their handshake or the timbre of their voices, then you know something of what I'm talking about. We all begin our lives in the shadows of those who came before us, their histories, their policies, their mistakes, and their most noble actions alike. It can be a lot to live up to or live down, to get away from or to honor, depending upon where you stand in relation to all that history. As with all legacies, I think the tendency is to allow them to define you, either by accepting them or by actively opposing them. But this, to my mind, is a false binary in a world too full of false binaries. Always remember that you get to choose. You have the option of borrowing only what resonates most deeply with you and constructing a life around that resonance. In doing so, you leave behind questions of legacy and begin to forge something unique to your being, in your time and place, in your world. You began this process here at Georgetown. You took on a wealth of ideas, sifted them through your individual selves, and saw what remained to hold your interests and ignite your passions. And it is my hope that you will never lose touch with that process, because to hold on to it, it is a way to cultivate a way of living deliberately, a way of carrying the spirit of the explorer into the varieties of day-to-day existence. To be an explorer in our current era means something quite different from what it meant in my grandfather's time. We have a radically new relationship with information and the technology that provides it. We carry in our pockets access to the vast accumulation of human knowledge. We walk around with screens capable of streaming to us live, first-hand views of the lives of others. And we, in turn, have the ability to broadcast our own voices and experiences all over the world. Given this great wealth of access, discovering something never before seen is a good deal more difficult. But discovering new ways to look at what we already know is an exploratory attitude anyone can practice. You carry in your pocket the ability to call attention to the issues you care most about and to engage with others in the search for answers. With fresh eyes come fresh solutions and the revelations of hidden wonders. You can all be explorers. You can make the choice to always approach the world with a childlike wonder and reverence. So remember back to when you were young and the subtle machinations of this world were nothing short of a revelation. Remember the first time you watched ants in a steady march to and from a dropped popsicle stick, before insects became a gross annoyance, something to be kept out of your living space and certainly never to be allowed to crawl on you. Think back to a time when it would never even have occurred to you to crush one of them, a time when there was only your fascination with these tiny beings and their strange mission. In my case, it was tadpoles. I marveled over how their voracious appetite for pondweed could fuel a most miraculous transformation, from this little, wiggly fish-like creature, now growing legs, now shedding tail, evolving before my very eyes into a more formidable creature with a different role to play. I loved listening to them argue around the pond at night, the chirps, squeaks, croaks, and calls filling the air in concert. They gave me a deep sense of connection to nature. They were wild, yet accessible to a child, to me. And still today, for me, they are pure magic. And these wonders are everywhere, if only we remember to look. Walk to a riverbank and stare for a moment at the swirl of stream water in an eddy. Allow that vortex to pull at your attention, and you might see in the logarithmic spiral of a snail shell, the orbital decay of a binary star system, or the sprawling spiral of the arms of the galaxy. To gaze with this kind of wonder brings an indescribable comfort, a sense that all that ever was, is, or will be is actually part of one grand thing. You, all of you, are part of one grand thing. To remain aware of this, to see through those eyes, is a way to gird yourself against the disillusionment, detachment, and apathy that does so much harm to the human spirit. If you can retain the ability to look at the world with that sense of wonder, you will come to know it in deeper and more profound ways than you might have thought possible. The more you know of the world, the more of it you will love, the more you will protect. And this world badly needs our protection right now. My own sense of wonder for this planet and all her various little miracles is matched only by my increasing sense of panic for what we're losing. As a mother to two small humans, I am deeply concerned for the world they will inherit. The places that I have loved, be they oceanic or pastoral, are disappearing. And I fear that in a time when technological advance has made the citizens of the world more socially connected than ever before, we have become distracted from that connectedness we share with every other micro and macro organism on this planet. For human beings and the planet we share, the situation is dire. And this brings me to a difficult point for any commencement address: how to express the extraordinary need for reform without prophesizing gloom and doom on a day when you should be celebrating your accomplishments here at Georgetown. Is it bad? Yes. Is it as bad as the scientists say? I'm afraid it is. A part of your legacy is this uncertain future. Nothing short of a total shift away from our carbon-based economies can address the planetary emergency we all face. And so yours is the generation that will impose a radical reconsideration of how we live in this world, how we consume resources, how we restore natural capital, how we protect the future from the excesses of the past. You will be the brave architects of this new world. Every generation of graduates must face down the future that it's inheriting. Every generation must make choices that are simultaneously philosophical and personal: what to keep, what to throw away, what to honor, and what to reform. I don't envy you that responsibility, but I do very much believe in your ability to meet and exceed it. Is it hopeless? No. No, it is not. The only legacy thrust upon you is the legacy you choose to accept. The history of explorers worldwide is made up of women and men who were told, "No one has done that," and who responded, "Then I will do that." People who were told, "That cannot be done," and their response was, "Well, let's just see about that." We live in a time of unparalleled social change. Across the country, communities are reimagining their relationship to past policy, history, and legacy. Georgetown's own community has spent the year re-examining its relationship to the institution's history. Your voices have brought the debate about how to reconcile past injustices with current policy into the limelight and begun an important conversation about how we engage with our past, what we honor, what we reject, and most importantly, how we move forward. We need not accept the narratives we are often handed by history or institutions of power. Politicians would seek to divide environmental issues into conservative and liberal platforms in the hopes of political gain, but we need not be trapped by that type of ideological pigeonholing. How we treat the planet is not an issue for Republicans and Democrats to argue about. It is an issue for all of us to agree upon as Earthlings. So it is my hope for you all that you might take some time before you begin your professional lives to examine the familial, historical, political, and ideological legacy you have inherited. Comb through it and find the ideas and causes and principles that most speak to you. Take the aspects of these causes that stir something in you and weave their advocacy into your daily lives. Live deliberately. Make the choices that support what you most believe, however small, with an awareness that every small thing you do ripples outward into this one grand thing of which we are all a part. So now, Hoyas, go forth, live with purpose, make your own ripples, and craft your own legacies. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cousteau. We shall now have the presentation of candidates for degrees in course by members of the faculty.
President DeGioia, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Will the following seniors please stand and remain standing? Those students who have majored in anthropology, in economics, in government, in justice and peace studies, in political economy, in psychology, in sociology, and in women's and gender studies. Please be seated.
President DeGioia, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Will the following seniors please stand and remain standing? Those who have majored in American musical culture, in American studies, in art history, in English, in history, in interdisciplinary studies, in medieval studies, in philosophy, in theater and performance studies, and in theology.
President DeGioia, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Science and Bachelor of Arts. Will the following seniors please stand and remain standing? Those students who have majored in biology. In biology of global health, in biochemistry, in chemistry, in computer science, in environmental biology, in mathematics, in neurobiology, and in physics. Please be seated.
President DeGioia, I have the honor to present to you the following candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Will the following seniors please stand and remain standing? Those who have majored in Arabic, in Chinese, in classics, in comparative literature, in French, in German, in Italian, in Japanese, in linguistics, in Portuguese, in Russian, in Spanish, and in Spanish and Portuguese studies. Please be seated.
Will all seniors please stand? Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2016, please put on your hoods.
The Georgetown College Marshals, Grace Holbrook Funston. Adam Richard Samuel Barton. Adam Jacobson.
Students may be seated, please.
Chandani Jha. Skylar Wallace Abrams. Rebecca Kelly Osabal. Sarah Alyssa Adams. Queen Abimbola Odesoyi. Eric William Adler. Jordana Blair Adler. Anabi Xavier Adoga. Okay. Mary Catherine Ahern. Daniel Ryan Ahern. Amaransala O. Ajayi. Anthony John Albanese. Sarah Ann Albanese. Tomas Franz Albers Fiedler. Sukri Omar Ali Fortunio. George Michael Allegro III. Sarah Ann Allegro. Christopher John Almeida. Bruce Neil Alvarez. Mike Randy Andre. Elliot Chung Allen. Timothy Reese Enick. Rebecca Simone Anthony. Grace Elizabeth Appleby. Benjamin Michael Apley Epstein. Emily Collett Araj. Maximiliano Fernando Astruk Zelaya. Julian David Atide. Amber Marie Athey. Rushika H. Athia. Ruben Lazaro Atkins. Adam Daniel Bacigalupo. Warner Higgins Bailey. Elizabeth Catherine Baker. Catherine Margaret Ballinger. Kristen Marie Bandos. Henry Bond. Kendall Lee Banks. William W. Bantz. Angelique Xiao-An Barbeau. Megan Evelyn Barefoot. Kayla Shamail Barrett. Stephanie Brennan Barrett. Jason Parker Baskett. Ludovico Iago Bassetti. Logan Kathleen Battle. Darius Ian Baxter. Ethan James Beeman. Marie Merwin Beasley. Joelle Bebasa. Samantha Lily Becci. Veronica Corinne Beck. Christopher C. Behrens. Connor Clark Bellows. Lucas James Bench. Keith C. Bennett. Jacob Reed Burko. Christian Chapman Berger. Leslie Amelia Bergman. Catherine Emily Burke. Brittany Isabella Berlin. Connor Harmon Bernstein. Julian Betancourt. Charles Henry Biddle. Ahmed Liban Abdi Billah. Morgan Ann Burke. Nicholas Ryan Bittner. Madeline Elizabeth Smart Blackman. Alexis Jordan Blair. Bethany Ann Blakeman. Allison Whitney Blankenship. Samuel Bendit Block. Abigail Jane Bodurtha. Douglas Brinberg Bogan. Mary Eileen Boland. Samya Reddy Bolam. Sydney Ames Bowling. Brian Armand Bontempo. Hunter Dalton Books. Kira Ashling Boswick. William Graham Bowers. Brianni Dornice Boyd. Stephen Wu Brandon. Malia Alina Kiakala Brennan. Helen Brosnan. Kevin Timothy Brosnan. Alexander James Brown. Hannah Jean Brown. Leah Grace Brown. Caroline Sweet Buck. Emmy Mary Evelyn Buck. John Connor Buckley. Con N. Bui. Dana Claire Bulick. Troy Emmanuel Bullock, Jr. Anthony Robert Bonomo. Jocelyn Shermaine Burchett. Ashley Catherine Burke. Brendan Fitzgerald Burke, Jr. Jade Proxilia Burt. Jacoby Raftis Bird. Kimberly Ann Bussing. Adriana Nicole Caballero. Raquel Marie Caldwell. Madeline Ann Campbell. Mary Ellen Campbell. Alexandra Nicole Canal. Ryan Michael Canavan. Allison Irene Canella. Connor Yasai Canning. Rebecca Branco Kaplan. Seamus Patrick Caraher. Hannah Elizabeth Carey. Zoe Catherine Carroll. Caitlin Casey. Jonah Michael Cashton. Christopher David Castano. Isabella Cavaletti. Fiona Lou Cavis. Catherine Elizabeth Cavoli. Daniel Elias Cerny. Christine Soo-Jung Cha. Jacqueline Louise Chakajian. Gabriella Rose Champagne Sitzler. Melanie Karen Chan. Michelle Jui Hung Chang. Kristen Samantha Chappie. Owen Curran Chappie. David Edmund Chardak. Neil McBride Chowdhury. Meredith Lee Cheney. Duck Ho Cho. Anna Maria Holiva. Jenna Kimlee Cho. Katrina Ja-Yu Chu.
Samantha Rose Shiraki. Gypsel Consuelo Cibrian Lopez. Caitlin Elizabeth Cleary. Anne Lillian Coakley. Bridget Therese Coburn. Benjamin David Cohen. Christopher John Coffey. Owen John Coffin. Philip Highland Coffin. Toby E. Coker. Ian Christopher Collier. Margaret Mary Connolly. Robert Crawford Cooney. Nicholas John Cortina. Sean Thomas Craig. Mary Joan Krogan. Brendan Patrick Crawley. Michael Paul Crozier. John O'Neill Kuna. Elizabeth Page Cunningham. Alexia Janae Curry. Dylan James Cutler. Emily Barbara Sear. Riley Hamilton Dane. Gloria Ferris Dandoy. Talia Marie Daniel. Catherine Elstab Danielson. Subradeep Dutta. Thomas Joseph Davin IV. James Robert Davis. Laura Ann Davis. Camilla Sophia Daza. Matthew William de Goudamar. Telmo Vaz Demores Filio. Alexa Nicole De Angelis. Andrew Paul DeBragio. Tyler Morgan DeLoach. Richard John DeMarco III. Nora Powell Dempsey. Haley Anna Demas. Kayla Melanie Dennis. Nikki Lee Derbyshire. Caitlin Ryan DeSantis. Caroline Therese DeSantis. Christiane Ross DeSimone. Alexis Dever. Charles Timothy Dillon. Megan Ann DiMartino. Mac Joseph Deneen. Michael Angelo Di Pietrantonio. Elizabeth Laura DiVincentis. Stephanie Lauren Donahue. Michael Joseph Donay. Teresa Margaret Donnellan. Nicholas Stiles Donahue. Taylor Jane Downs. Aaron Alexander Dressler. Nicole Linda Dew. Alicia Nikita Dua. Alicia Nicole Dubois. Olivia Marie Duff. Bruno L. Dewin. Raymond Lake Dunn. Raven Dunstan. Catherine Ellen Eyre. Isabel Maria Echarte. Nathaniel Joseph Edwards. Hope Elise Edwards. Christina Day Eichenroth. James Lawrence Eisenstein. Timothy John Eldridge. Faher Fawaz El-Faiz. Julia Megan English. Diana Stephanie Escalante Iloraza. Tomas Santiago Escalona. Jonathan Espinoza Solorio. Okay. Stephanie Estevez. Madison Reedley Estia. Elizabeth Jacqueline Ethier. Grace Etro. Anne Taylor Ewing. Augustine Richard Ize. Christian Caleb Faubourg Anderson. Beatrice Maria Fabrice. Shannon Amanda Farina. Catherine Panzini Farrell. Malia Farouz. Nicolette Ann Fada. Roxanne Grace Feitel. Brittany Nicole Feldot. Thomas Lawrence Ferry. Caitlin Jane Firmage. Daniela Minna Fishbein. Addie Rayanne Flaren. Emily Annette Fletcher. Jesse Adam Flores.
Good morning.
Simone Alexandra Fogg.
Thank you.
Nicole Elizabeth Foggen. William Henry Fonseca. Mariah Claire Foote. Remy Nathaniel Fortin. Isaac Franco. Megan Catherine Franzetti. Sarah Melissa Friedman. Anna Catherine Frenzilli. Matthew Ernest Freed. Marjorie Rose Fuchs. Stephanie Marie Furlong. Nicole Isabel Fuzzi. Nolan Gerard Gaffney. Cameron Alexander Gamble. Alexander Daniel Garber. Samantha Garcia Lopez. Anna Margaret Geduldig. Alexander David George G. Caroline McCarthy Jeline. Elizabeth Ann Gentry. Devin Andrew Gerzoff. Amin Saladin Garad. Nima Gavimi. Nina Victoria Gianturco. Lucy Kirkwood Gibson. Ann Davy Gilliland. Colette Marie Gilner. Samantha Lynn Giovanello. Nicholas Flynn Gerard. Emily Ann Gisolfi. Mara Sierra Goby. Sean Ryan Golden. Jesus Gonzalez.
Matias Rodrigo Gonzalez Bunster. Victoria Bartlett Goodell. Nick Henry Gorsey. Cecily Iman Gordon. Zalandria Michelle Graham. Enrique Granados Jr. Emily Catherine Grau. David Thomas Gray. Griffin Alexander Greco. Andrew Charles Green. Ryan Christopher Green. Joseph Robert Greenspan. Constance Greer. Matthew Gerald Greiser. Jenna Nicole Grove. Joseph Paul Gruenbaum. Seamus Maurice Guerin. Sean M. Galeria. Casey Lynn Gunkel. Andrew John Gutman. Ellen Claire Gutkoski. Robert Lucian Habersetzer III. Constantine John Hadjipateris. Sophie Sweeney Haggerty. Christopher Richard Hahn. William Bennett Hallisey. Lily Catherine Ham. Emma Elizabeth Hamstra. Margaret Ann Hansen. Alec Robert Harbison. Ainoa Waizeta Hardy. Randall James Harley. John Gerard Harrison. Erin Marie Hart. Jamil Ahmad Hashmi. Kaylee Gerard Howry. Isabel Hayes. Anne Geraldine Hegarty. Chad Emilius Heel. James Patrick Heaney. Luke Paget Hedrick. Nicolette Mary Heinsinger. Taylor Len Henry. Eric James Henschel. Jordana Hernandez. Gregory James Harrigal. Allison Lila Hexner. Nicholas Wells Hexner. William Alexander Hillary. Jocelyn Ann Luwati. Troy Glenn Holland. Jennifer Wilsey Holloway. Olivia Jordan Holmes. John Foley Holtz. Brad Xavier Hong. Claire Hong. Dong Hyun Hong. Young Suk Hong. Brittany A. Horn. Jacqueline Emily Horowitz. John A. Horton. Victoria Carol Hotchkiss. Charles Huff. Charles Carroll Howard. Ching Hao Hu. Catherine Whitney Huber. Quayla Justine Hugh. Catherine Lee Hughes. Marcus A. Hughes. Mona Izzadine Hussein. Inji Huang. Audrey Angus Imms. Adrienne Lee Jackson. Melissa Case Jacobs. Caroline Elizabeth James. Maria Emily Janhofer. Aloysia Maria Jean. Grace Harvey Jensen Moran. Jordan Robert Jeter. Emily Waywin Jin. Atiana Janae Johnson. Deanna Rebecca Fayezon Johnson. Elizabeth McComb Johnson. Caitlin Elizabeth Johnson. Elizabeth Ann Jolly. Isaiah Lamar Jones. Sarah Margaret Jones. Brian J. Jordan. Louise Janelle Jordan. William Thomas Jordan. Mariel Ann Jorgensen. Connor Cray Joseph. Ayrton Tatug Kamdam. Fiona Jean Singshim Kane. Juyang Kang. Abla Karim Kawar. Gregory Hans Kaiser. Madeline Claire Kelly. John Stephen Kelly. Kristen Marie Kelly. Walter Kelly. Timothy Daniel Kensla. Emily Laura Kent. Peter Andrew Kent. Natasha Ramani Khan. Sabrina Khan. Emma Lynn Kidney. Julia Barry Kaiserman. Andrew D. Kim. Ji Soo Kim. Sarah Kim. Kevin David Kimes. Jared James Kimler. Brianne Jennifer Kincaid. Jordan Wesley King. Nicholas George Kinney. Christine Elizabeth Kirchner. Hunter Matthew Kislick. Samuel Dennis Kleinman. Sophia Clayman. Elizabeth Helen Klump. Carol Elizabeth Cook. Caroline Elizabeth Cook. Sarah Kelly Koenig. Jessica Lynn Connelidge. Elena Rose Koros. Samantha Susie Kosajitsky. Hillary Doran Kozak. Mackenzie Allen Krebs. Kevin Thomas Croyer. Lucas Brooks. Garrett Christopher Powers. And Nicole Melissa Kuhn.
It may be a dreary day outside, but not in here. Graduates, please rise. President DeGioia, these students have been duly examined and recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Directors. I therefore ask on behalf of the faculty that you bestow on them the degrees in course.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Congress of the United States and by the Board of Directors of Georgetown University, I officially confer upon these candidates the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. Congratulations. Graduates, I now ask you to please turn and face your families, your parents and your guardians and families who have supported you in these years with a big round of applause for them. Please be seated. President DeGioia will now offer some closing reflections. Well, thank you very much, Dean Gillis, for your outstanding leadership of Georgetown College. And to our commencement speaker this morning, Alexandra Cousteau, we want to thank you for making this very special day that much more special by your presence and by sharing your insights and your perspectives with us. It's an honor to welcome you back to the Hilltop. To our graduates, to our families, to each member of our community present this morning, it's an honor, a privilege to be able to be here in this very special moment in the lives of our students. It's a privilege to share in this celebration of the graduation of the class of 2016. A word of gratitude to your families for the trust they placed in us, for your education and for your formation as young women and men ready for the responsibilities of global citizenship and your chosen professional and academic endeavors. Thank you to the extraordinary faculty here today for their deep care and commitment to teaching and mentorship. To your scholarship, to the vibrancy of this university community, to our staff, I want to thank you all for your many contributions every day that made this day possible. And finally, to our graduates. To the women and men before me, congratulations. All of your hard work, the challenges you've encountered, your triumphs, your service, your achievements, everything that you've done at Georgetown has brought you to this moment, to this day. Not that long ago, in this very place, you joined our community. You came to us from around the world. You came to us with singular talents, individual perspectives, unique backgrounds. You came to us seeking to learn and to expand your horizons. You came here to Georgetown, to a place where people and ideas and values converge. Today we mark the journey, the experiences that you've shared, the knowledge that you've gained, which have brought you to this moment. In your time as students, we have sought to provide a context for your formation. By formation, we mean the work of supporting each of you as you seek to become your most authentic self, providing you with the conditions that will enable you to flourish, to realize your full promise. It is our hope that during your time here, as you've engaged in this work of formation, you've come to better know yourself and what matters most to you, how you best connect to others and to our world, to know your most authentic, your truest, deepest aspects of your identity, the person that you are and the person that you are meant to be. Formation is a journey of discovery, a journey of understanding, a journey of seeking out that which each of us can uniquely contribute to our world, a journey of deepening our faith, of understanding the commitments that we have to one another. This idea of journey, a pilgrimage, has a deep resonance with our tradition. St. Ignatius described himself as a pilgrim. Pope Francis, in announcing what he has called the extraordinary Jubilee of Mercy, taking place this year, a year in which he asks each of us and all of us to identify works of mercy that can animate our lives. He reminds us that pilgrimage is a way of life. It's a way of being. He writes, "The practice of pilgrimage has a special place in this holy year because it represents the journey each of us makes in this life. Life itself is a pilgrimage, and the human being is a pilgrim, traveling along the road, making her or his way to the desired destination." Well, during your time on our campus, you've come to know, to use Pope Francis's words, the practice of pilgrimage, the conscious and purposeful commitment to a journey. And we celebrate today a significant moment in your lives, a destination you've been working towards, and the beginnings, the commencement of many wonderful things to come. You joined our community with an eagerness to engage ideas and cultivate your intellect, to forge your conscience, to deepen your character. Now with this commencement, you embark on another very special time in your lives. This is your time, and we are honored to share this moment with you. Congratulations on this very special day.
Thank you, President DeGioia. Please stand for the alma mater, which is located in the back of the commencement program book. Please remain standing for the benediction, which will be offered by Rabbi Rachel Gartner, Director for Jewish Life.
There is a teaching in the Talmud that asks, when God gave the Torah, the gift of Torah, and I would extend that to say the gift of the earth, God said, but who will guarantee its future? And the people answered, our children, our banim, the Hebrew is banim, our children will guarantee the future. And the wise one said, yes, that is true, but only if we consider our banim, our children, also our bonim, our builders, in honor of our inheritors and our builders, our architects of the future, our students. Let us pray. And Moses said, when he saw the bush alive with fire, Asurana ve'ar'e et hamareh hagadol hazeh. As we conclude these commencement proceedings, dear God, we take one more moment to do as Moses did. Moses said, I will turn around and look at this great sight to see the fire and the beauty so alive in it. Let us look around at this great sight one more time to see the fire and the beauty alive in it. We do not have the radiance of the sunshine as we did when I wrote this prayer. But we do have the radiance coming alive in the faces of our students, the warmth that is flowing between teachers and students, mentors and mentees, spouses and parents and children and friends and their dear friends. And we do see the resplendence of the work of our hearts and of our minds having come to fruition. So as we look well at this moment, we feel the abundant blessings of our children and our builders, and we can do nothing but be profoundly grateful for it. As we conclude these proceedings, may we all be blessed with humble gratitude and audacious joy. May the abundance we feel this morning satiates us fully in this glorious moment. This is a day, God, you have made for us. Let us rejoice in it. But at the same time, we know that a good education, like a good prayer, should both uplift and unsettle us. Indeed, as our graduates set forth on the many paths that lead from these gates, may they be blessed with a restlessness, a yearning to share the fruits of their new knowledge with others. May they have an ever-renewing desire and ever-growing capacity to use the talents and skills that you have blessed them with for the common good, so that one day every single woman and man, girl and boy, human being might experience for themselves the abundance that we celebrate for ourselves here today. As you take leave of this glorious place, that where every bush seems aflame with possibility, dear graduates, may they carry with them the seeds and sparks of possibility, of hope, of equality, of justice. May their lives be rooted in holy work that blooms and flourishes throughout the world. May they carry far and wide the torch of liberty handed down to them throughout the generations, doing work that enlivens the tired, that gives voice to the poor, that empowers the homeless, that relieves the tempest-tossed, that shines a bright lamplight on the hidden injustices. And in so doing, may you bring this world, may we bring this world closer to the Garden of Eden it was meant to be. So, in my tradition, we say, Shalom Aleichem. In the tradition of my dear, dear Muslim sisters and brothers, we say, Salam Alaikum, Elf Mabruk, 1,000 blessings. May you go in peace, and may you bring peace wherever you go. Venomar, and let us say, Amen.
We will hold the Georgetown College Commencement Part 2 in 1 hour in this space. So we need to empty the gymnasium with decorum, but with alacrity as well. Ushers will direct you to the exits on both sides of the gym. We ask that you do not exit through the front doors of the gym because the next guests are waiting to come in for the second commencement ceremony. Graduates, after you recess outside, you should proceed to White Gravener Building to retrieve your diplomas. Graduates and families should plan to meet in White Gravener, and diploma distribution will conclude in 1 hour. I thank everyone for your good spirits and your patience and your care in moving through a complicated set of arrangements on a not very pretty day. The 2016 commencement exercises of the College of Georgetown University are now officially closed. We ask you to stay in your places until the procession has left the gymnasium.